The Buffalo Bills are an absolute threat to not only reach, but to win the Super Bowl. To not only get there, but to also win, all right? They've had no mystifying no-shows this year. They've been incredibly consistent. Oh, well, BT, what happened with the Titans game when they got waxed 42-16? Yeah, I watched it. Matter of fact, I bet the Titans that night. I knew that was coming. That was a Tuesday night, odd circumstances. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the Tennessee, you might forget this, but I didn't. The Titans scored 2 touchdowns late in the final 4 minutes to make it cosmetically like a rout. They play again. I'm picking the Bills. The Bills play the Steelers. I told you they'd beat them a couple of Sunday nights ago. They did. They play them again. I'm picking the Bills. If they play the Ravens, I'm picking the Bills. If they play the Browns, I'm picking the Bills. If they play the Colts, I'm picking the Bills. I'm picking the Bills to beat everybody but the Kansas City Chiefs. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they have not lost since October 12th. And the one loss came on a miraculous 43-yard bomb /heave / pulling a rabbit out of a hat, Hail Murray from that is the only game they have lost since a few weeks before Halloween. I'm all in on I'm not saying that they'll beat Kansas City. They will not be favored, nor should they be. But this team is legit.
Yeah, no,
legit.
I like watching obviously we talked about the evolution of Josh Allen a lot, but it's less about that. It's more about what he's able to do and what it opens the playbook. The third touchdown that he threw to Stephon Diggs was amazing because it was a rollout. It was supposed to be a rollout to the right side. Instead, he takes 2 steps. It's a fake rollout. No, I think the Kansas City Chiefs do this, but when I saw the Kansas City Chiefs do it, they talked about it on the show, on the broadcast. I thought it was like a mistake. I thought Pat Mahomes was just kind of improvising. But it's a fake rollout to the right. He sticks his foot in the ground, rolls back to the left. You got to have the athleticism to square your body and then fire a shot to the drag coming across the back of the end zone, which was Stephon Diggs. And it was first of all, it was perfect execution. And then it was a perfect throw. There's not very many quarterbacks in the NFL that can do that, and not very many teams and coordinators that have the confidence to call that play. That was the one that made me say, all right, the Bills got something going on right now.
Wait. That's the play that it took for you for it to finally register this team is good?
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, they're good because they're record, BT. You know what I mean? When they're doing stuff like that, that's just kind of It's
next level stuff.
It's next level. It's like, dude, who the heck does this?
Very few players maybe Rodgers.
They call it with great confidence. They didn't even think twice about it. Down on the goal line, it was awesome.
Everything about this team is just incredibly impressive. From the culture they've created. Ownership stays out of the way. Let the football people do their job. They draft well. They develop well. They're coached well. I got to shut this thing off. I keep forgetting this. I'm sorry. I have, for some reason, why do I have this? 3:05 it's got to be something from Christmas. I don't know. I've got my stupid alarm set for 3:05. That's got to be new. My
midday nap. You got to wake up.
Yeah, I wish. I could barely fall asleep at night. I'm going to take a nap during I cannot nap. If you said.
And who the hell has time to nap anymore?
Not us.
When you have kids.
But not us. But even if I did, I've never been a napper. You?
I used to be. When I was playing,
lucky.
I think when my body was different, when I had 30 extra pounds on me, napping I needed. But now, no, I don't need it anymore. I have enough energy.
Yeah, the brain's going in too many directions, thinking about things. Good directions for the most part, but definitely directions. Listen, I'm gonna reiterate this. Whether you are the Steelers or the Ravens or the Browns, should you be lucky enough to get there. And we'll get into that as the week progresses. Obviously, all the win-and-in situations, Colts on the outside looking in. There's a million different variables. We know what's up with the NFC East. If you're the Titans and you feel good about that, the lambasting that you put on them back in October, don't, because the Bills will beat you if you happen to play again. The Bills are such an and here's the thing, too. This is important. And that's why I ran through the mechanics of that Titans game. Tuesday night, kicked back, odd sequence, off schedule, 2 touchdowns. Don't get me wrong, Tennessee was better that game for sure. But 2 touchdowns late to make it seem like a cosmetic rout. The reason I point that out, you name another team around the NFL right now that is in a position to win a championship that has not delivered a somewhat mystifying, uneven performance in the last 2 months. Seattle lost to the Giants at home and scored 12 points. The Rams are a disaster. They have no quarterback
well, how
right
about
now.
That? And if you talk about Kansas City, how about Kansas City losing to the Raiders?
I was going to get there.
In the season.
But even when they lost to the Raiders, at least the Raiders were playing well.
Yeah,
but in
true.
the ensuing wins for Kansas City, that Broncos game a couple of Sunday nights ago, this past week, missed field goal, an easy one. They, not from them, from their opponent. They eventually get the luck. Not luck. I would say they get a win, but somewhat unimpressive. Mahomes very easily could have had 4 picks that game. Matter of fact, there was a stat that I don't even know how they track this, but I guess they do. Mahomes has set a record for most dropped INTs by a quarterback. I don't know when they began tracking this. I'm going to guess mid-2000s, maybe turn of the century. I don't think it's too incredibly long. But there's been, I think the number was 15 drops. And like they somehow estimate, I don't mean like where a corner like dives and, I mean where it's a play where you should catch the ball. 15 drops. The point is, as much as we respect Kansas City and their ability to flip the switch on a dime, they've not played good football the last month.
Haven't. They had no business being in that game against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons almost beat them. I mean, it took some miraculous play down the stretch for Kansas City to beat a Falcons team. No, the Falcons play hard. They're just not good right now, but they play hard.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't have been a game. I mean, it seems like it's almost like they're playing games close just to see. And I'm joking about that, obviously, because you want to beat teams convincingly as often as possible. But Kansas City hasn't looked great, even though they haven't lost in a long time.
Well, and by the way, they did the same thing in the playoffs a year ago.
That's
back-to-back games.
Yeah, that's right.
Lucky for them, they didn't encounter anybody good enough to call them on that sloppiness. I believe the Bills could. If the Bills jump up, if they jump out, and they lead 14-3, 20-10, 10-0. And I'm not saying the Chiefs can't come back. I mean, listen, they do have the ability, as I said, to flip the switch and, score a couple of touchdowns quick and change the dynamic of a game. But the Bills, I think there's been lessons learned. Remember Josh Allen's fumble in the playoffs a year ago? I just think that I know they're different, and they deserve so much credit. And I know it's been 20 years of futility, the 4 straight Super Bowl losses, myriad coaches, myriad GMs, myriad failed quarterback draft picks. I know. That means, as I say, that means ugats. Haven't used that word. That means nothing right now pertaining to this season and this Bills team. They're rolling. Now, a team that's not rolling is the Pats. And they might not be rolling for a while. I want to play something. Listen to Cam Newton last night. This was an interesting U-turn that he made as he elaborated on his struggles and the emotional distress that goes with it.
We're talking mostly about the schedule that he shared with everyone. He gets up at 4:30 and then
4:20.
4:20.
Don't sell him short.
I want to show up. When I read this, when I saw this, I was like, what about sleep? Sleep is important, man. Sleep is important, execution and recovery and all those things. So unless you're going to bed at 8:30, which I don't think that you are, well, you're not sleeping enough for a guy who's playing a very active and very physically demanding sport. But that aside, and then he gets there, he doesn't drink coffee until 8:30 and yada, yada, yada. It was a story. It was what it was. But the interesting thing I take from what Cam said, he's talking about how hard he's working, but Josh McDaniels also said something about Cam, saying, as a coach, I couldn't, and I'm paraphrasing, I couldn't ask for anyone to work any harder than Cam Newton is working. And you can't judge his career or season based on, what's been going on and the COVID situation that kept him out for a couple of weeks. All of that notwithstanding, he just isn't good enough anymore. And it's not a knock on Cam. It's just a reality of the situation that he finds himself in right now. His accuracy is higher than it's ever been statistically, but when you watch the game, it's like, dude, that was a gross miss, right? That was an easy completion. What about down the field? Like, there's nothing that makes you say, I'm scared of Cam Newton, other than when you get into short yardage situations or you get down in the tight red zone where he's basically a running back, down there. Other than that, you're not scared of Cam Newton. He's got 5 touchdowns, BT. 5
5 passing touchdowns.
5 passing touchdowns on the season and 10 interceptions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's an inverted TD to touchdown ratio, and it's not even good if it was the other way. You know what I mean? So it should
be better than 2-1 is Tiki's point.
That's right. It's just been ugly, and it's 1-2 to my point.
I got you. Yep. So, no, I'm saying that off the inversion, it should still be better than 2-1.
Look, Cam used to have an it, and I'm not talking about a statistical it. It wasn't like he was blowing you away with 80% completion percentage, and he had a 158.3 QB. That's not what he was. That's not how he's winning. Yep. Not how he won the MVP. It was just a factor, like an it factor, that he would come and manufacture victories, and it's not there anymore, BT. And as much as Bill Belichick wants to say Cam gives us the best chance to win every week, I can't co-sign that.
Listen, first
of all,
I mean?
Maybe Jarrett Stidham is that bad, but at least
how could he be that bad?
I don't know.
How could he be that bad? I think that, although I think it's borderline negligent, that Stidham did not get a longer look this year.
Agreed.
Because the offense was just so impotent that, I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to take shots at Cam. I don't know how he could be worse.
Yeah.
I don't know how he could be worse than Cam.
That's right. And what they're basically saying is they're moving on from both of them this offseason.
Which is fine, but did you really get the real thorough evaluation?
No.
Exactly. You didn't get the intel on Jarrett Stidham. But that's neither here nor there. Cam's obviously going to be gone. I don't think he has any chance to be a starter in the NFL. Stidham, who the heck knows? And quite frankly, who the heck cares? All right, listen. Certainly don't want to be callous here because and listen, you've done this and I remember last year when I was away in Utah for 5 weeks with the Discovery Channel. It was brutal. I mean, professionally it was incredibly rewarding, but it was, as much as FaceTime and this phone is a great thing, to his point about not seeing his kids for 3 months, in a lot of ways FaceTime makes it harder because you're looking at a screen and you're seeing your little kids, but you can't reach through the screen and hug them and kiss them. I can't tell you how many times I hung up. I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, geez, I miss these little monkeys. I miss them. I want to squeeze them. I miss them so much. I get it. As a dad, I get it. I respect it. I love that he brought that to the table. Everything else, nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear what time you get up. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares what time you get in the building. Doesn't matter. The only way it matters is if you're not getting in the building early. That is the bare minimum requirement. That is the bare minimum expectation for a quarterback. You get in the building early. You have a relationship with your OC, maybe with your head coach, but certainly your OC and your quarterback coach. You scour film. You help as they implement the game plan. Hopefully you've got the latitude to offer suggestions as to what you like and what you don't. And if not, that's a different problem. But it's an interactive exchange, and you are immersed in the opponent and your profession. I don't care what time you get up. All I care about what you do is when you come out of the tunnel. And Cam Newton's been worse than Sam Darnold this year. And that's saying something.
Yeah, you're right.
Been the worst quarterback in football.
He's been shot. He's shot, and that is what it is. And I think we now understand that. Who knows what his prospects are for next year? But I'm not sure that there's a team that's looking at their one draft board and then free agent board saying Cam Newton's at the top of our list.
He wasn't on the list last year.
That's exactly right. He was on nobody's list other than the Patriots at the very end, and they got him for less than $1 million.
Exactly. Tells you all you need to know. Listen, by the way, from the Pats' point of view, worth the nominal gamble. Take a shot. Odd season. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle. Maybe McDaniels and Cam Pop didn't work. I'm not chastising the Pats for rolling the dice. It was a low-risk, sensible move. Hasn't worked out. As we know, I am surprised they didn't give Stidham at least 2 or 3 games to play. I don't know. Maybe Belichick's trying not to disrespect Cam. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, or he doesn't want somebody to see Stidham. I don't know. I don't get it either. I don't understand. They have him under contract. It doesn't make any sense to not see what he's worth. I mean,
by the way, it's not like they're 2-14 with no chance for the playoffs going back a month. Yeah. They had a puncher's chance. If I'm a Pats fan, even with all the wins and the championships and the great 20 years of memories, I'm sitting there on my couch saying, man, put the kid in. I can't watch this nonsense. This guy stinks.
Let me see him play some meaningful game, some meaningful time. And if he plays next week, great. But, I mean, that game means literally
nothing. Means
nothing.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.